Hey, what's going on? Ryan Kohler here with Refer.io, and today we're going to talk about one of the best kept secrets when it comes to generating more applicants from the job boards. And this one is overlooked by most companies. And the smaller you are, the more likely you're overlooking it, but it's your job board profile. Now, when we think about posting jobs to job boards, we assume the job is the most important thing, which it clearly is. And most ATS systems that do a good job are automating that post so you don't have to go to the job boards to do anything. Seems super cool, extremely easy, makes for a great user experience from our perspective as the employer. The problem is it can set you up to struggle when it comes to generating organic, especially organic traffic from the job boards such as Indeed. So I'm going to show you kind of how this works. And the way we want to think about this is that the old school way of thinking about it is that job boards are just like online classifieds like Craigslist, and Craigslist is just like real classifieds like the newspaper. And when we think about that, it was all about the ad. I called up the newspaper and I said, I want to post an ad. I picked a category, which set kind of which group I was in, and the ads were ordered based off of alphabetical. So I could start the ad with an A and it would move me up to the top of that section. Now, when we moved over to Craigslist, and suddenly it became about the most recent posted one. The biggest change was suddenly ads could be posted throughout the week, not on a given day. And so then Craigslist started, once again, using categories and then deciding how to rank those jobs based on when the last one was posted, and the newest would go to the top. So this evolved us from using A to start because it was alphabetical to posting it more often in order to move it to the top of the list. Then along comes Indeed. And Indeed runs much more like Google, and the order of those jobs is based off of relevance. Now, yes, you can click the show me the most recent, but most job seekers, and by default, when we run a search in Indeed, it has to do with relevance. And relevance is a ever-evolving algorithm. Think about it like a mathematical equation where every week or every month, Indeed or ZipRecruiter or whatever job board you're talking about is going into that algorithm and adding new variables or moving the weights around, meaning how important each of those variables is. So if we think about this, a long variable equation of when was this job posted and how many times is the word sales listed in the ad, and then we start getting more and more. That was probably the easiest too. How many times was that word? And now we start getting into how popular is this job? Do job seekers like it? And how does Indeed grade if a job seeker likes this ad versus this other ad? It could be by how long they spend looking at the ad. It could be if they applied. It could be et cetera, et cetera. And so Indeed and other job boards over time has made this algorithm more and more complicated by adding more variables to it, number one. And number two, by setting different weighting. Now, instead of getting down into the weeds, I want you to just zoom out and think logically about what is it that Indeed is looking for. And what they're really looking for is what will give the best experience to the job seeker, not to the employer, but to the job seeker. And when it comes to a great experience for the job seeker, great experiences for job seekers would come from employers that were actively engaged in recruiting. And the more active you are, the more assertive you are, the more you go and do things, the more signals you're giving to Indeed that you actually care about this process. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to just jump over here. Let me switch my screen and we'll jump into Indeed. Now I'm going to show a couple examples here. I'm sorry if this is you, but if it is you, take it as free advice. So we're going to start off with a couple of the biggest mistakes that people make. And this one right off the bat, you can see right here, they have 4.1 stars. That's awesome. And they have 21 reviews. I'm looking for certain numbers on here, and the very first number I'm looking at is reviews versus jobs. If I have more jobs than reviews, what does that tell me? But the very first thing I look at is this right here. Every time I have an employer I talk to, I click on Why Join Us, and I see if their profile is claimed. If their profile is not claimed, then that's a huge problem. And that's a huge signal to Indeed that they're really not that actively engaged in curating their online presence on that job board. And it's not like somebody's doing this on purpose. It most likely is overlooked. Most likely their jobs were fed there from their ATS system. They had no reason to go to Indeed. But this right here is part of that algorithm. When we get outside of the parts that have to do with the job, and instead we're looking at the overall company, there's a handful of things on this page that Indeed is looking at. Number one, did you claim your company profile? Super easy to do. Somebody at your organization needs to go claim this thing. Number two would be, did you actually then update it? So do you have a logo? Do you have a why join us here? Are you actually responding to information that's on here? All of that all those things signal to Indeed that you are actively engaged in providing a great experience to their job seekers that are on their job board. Now, there's some others as far as, is it easy to use Easy Apply? How quickly do you get back to people, et cetera, et cetera. But today, I'm going to show you. So this one, right off the bat, company profile is not claimed. Let's go to the second one, and we can do the same thing. In this instance, this one has a claimed profile, but we actually haven't done anything with it. We still don't have a logo. We still don't have a why join us, anything like that. And once again, if we look at the reviews, while they do have 1 star, they also have 1 review. Now, once again, looking at this, there's 40 jobs and 1 review. Clearly, they may have a ton of good employees that are staying with them, that have no reason to quit, and therefore they don't have a reason to come to Indeed to leave a review. Again, think about the type of people who leave reviews. They're people actively looking for jobs, either because you fired them, you laid them off, or they quit, or they're going to quit. All of these individuals no longer care about the reputation of your company because they're leaving you to go somewhere else. Your internal employees who are having a great experience working for you, have been with you for years or months, or progressing or growing or evolving, are happy, they don't have a reason to come to Indeed, so they're not going to leave a positive review. But so when we think about this right off the bat, let's instead switch to this one. I just randomly grabbed this roofing company, and I can start looking at some things. Number one, they claim their profile. Number two, their logo's here. They have a header image. Number three, they have a why join us on here. Number four, they've uploaded photos. They have a video about why join our team. You can see all of this information that may have come directly off their career site, but somebody went and uploaded this information, thus telling Indeed that they are assertive and care about the experience of a job seeker who clicks and reads about this company. You can see our review number. We have over twice as many reviews as we have jobs that are open. Really good metric there, right? To start to show us, and there's a reason why they have 3.7 stars, and it may not be that they're that much better of a place to work than the one I was looking at with 1 star. It's just they have way more reviews. I'm going to assume that somebody at that company is proactively pushing their employees to go leave reviews. And so this is today's secret. This employer page right here, vitally important for you to think about, for you to take ownership over. Not just physical ownership, meaning I've claimed my profile, but actual ownership around making sure that you've curated the right content, the right logo, the right header. Honestly, something on here is better than nothing at all. So don't let perfect get in the way of progress here. Claim your profile, load up some content, throw something there for now, go back and change it later so that you can then progress to working on driving more reviews, etc., etc. But this right here, this page, makes a huge impact on where your jobs rank. Now, you won't notice this impact by just going to Indeed and running a search, because if I go run a search for my job, it's going to show up there. And don't try to run a bunch of searches for keywords and try to figure out where you rank. Even that ranking is a huge algorithm. Just understand that this does make a huge difference, so you'd be crazy not to go and fix it. So that's today's secret for driving up your results by using your brand and your story. Now, clearly, once you get something there, improving this and making it more engaging and more transparent and more authentic and really telling your story becomes more important. But to start with, have something. So thanks so much for watching today. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.